This is the most uncomfortable video I can imagine myself filming. Even right now, I'm not sure it's going to end up on YouTube, but I really hope it does because it has an important message. If you are due to go for your smear test, please, please, please go to your smear test. I hope you have a little bit of a cringe with me, but ultimately, I hope that you don't think, oh, I won't go along just in case the thing that happened to Kate happens to me as well. For those of you who don't know how a smear test works, there is information in the description, and I strongly encourage you to look that up if you're going to take any kind of medical advice from this, because again, I am not a doctor. And what I'm about to describe sounds confusing and questionable, and that's because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know how these things work. This is just from my point of view what happens at a smear test. So basically, you go into the doctors, you go into a room, they sit you on a bed, you open your legs, and then they put into you what's called a speculum. It kind of feels like putting a tampon in, but someone else is doing it, which is kind of weird. And this speculum, it kind of goes up like this, and then it can open up. So it opens up like this, and then there's a little swab that kind of comes along. It reaches your cervix, it gives a little tickle, tickle, tickle. That gets some cells off the cervix onto the cotton swab, and then it comes out. That goes away to the lab, and they test it to see if you have any cancerous cells on your cervix. If you have anything, if you don't have anything, they let you know. So I have always had a letter about 6 weeks later, after my cervix exam, letting me know that everything is clear. Hallelujah. I've never had anything other to say, you know, you need to double check this. This is looking bad. So whether you'd still get a letter, I don't know. Whether you'd get a phone call, I don't know. Maybe it differs from doctor to doctor. That's something I don't have any information about. If anybody knows, you can put that in the comments. Let me know. Have you ever had inconclusive results or a bad result from a smear test? Let me know. What happened? Let's share the information, guys. I went along to my first smear test, and it was pretty much the process that I've just described. I went into the room, took my trousers off, sat on the bed, opened my legs, and the nurse went in, took the little tickle, tickle, tickle of my cervix, took the swab out, the swab went away to the lab, and everything came back clear. So when I went along to my next smear test, I was pretty much expecting the same thing to happen. I was expecting it to be like 2 minutes, it wasn't going to be a big deal, and I was going to feel a lot more confident this time as well because I'd done this in the past. It was fine. I go along to my second appointment, the nurse calls me into the room, and then I took off my jeans, I took off my knickers, and then you sit on the bed and they have like a little sheet that you can kind of cover yourself up with so that you're not just kind of sitting there butt naked, or not butt naked, but like your butt is naked. While the nurse is doing various things in the room, sitting on the bed, waiting for my test, and the nurse comes back in and she's like, okay, cool, let's go for it. Now, speculums come in different sizes because vaginas come in different sizes. And I'm smiling as I say that because I never thought I'd say the word vagina on YouTube. I'm such a prude. I'm quite a, the stereotypical British person who doesn't like to talk about these things, but also I'm the kind of person who likes to talk about these things, but I never thought I'd hear myself say the word vagina on YouTube, so here we are. Vaginas come in different sizes, speculums come in different sizes, so there was a few different options on the table, and my nurse picked one to try, and it looked a little big, but I thought, hey, she's the nurse. I'm just the person who's providing the cervix. So maybe I'm wrong here. So she put that into me. She kind of greases it up. There's like a lubricant or something onto this speculum so that it goes in easier. Like you're not just ramming a random piece of plastic into your body. It is like to try and make it as comfortable as possible. And she put the speculum into my vagina. And it felt right away like it was quite a big speculum for, my vagina. Like, I'm not sure how big my vagina is, but I like to think it's like quite neat and tidy down there, quite small, quite petite, quite cute. And I felt like the speculum was the same size as, the kind of area this was going up into. It wasn't the most comfortable experience ever. But again, I thought, she's the nurse, I'm just the patient. And ultimately, it's going to be over in a couple of minutes. I can survive this. I've had periods. I can survive this. This is going to be fine. It's going to be over in a couple of minutes. It's cool. After about a minute, it felt to me like it was going on a lot longer than usual. And she was like, okay, if you just relax. And I was trying my best to relax already, because the more relaxed you are, the easier it is for them to do this. But the more you think to yourself, just relax, the more tense you get as well. So I was trying to relax. I was trying to concentrate on my breathing. I was trying to just let her do her thing. And again, she was like, yes, just relax. And then about another minute went by, and she said, I can't find your cervix. And that's a bit of a problem during a cervix exam. And my first thought was to say, oh, sorry. She got me to kind of, move a little bit, change my position a little, just in case that helped. But she still wasn't really seeing anything. So she removed the speculum, and then she, kind of reset her equipment and tried again with a different speculum and a different swab. And then it hit me that I was, apologising that she couldn't find my cervix, as though I'd just left it on the bus. Oh, clumsy Kate, she forgot to bring a cervix with her. Like, a cervix is a body part. It's quite difficult to leave behind. And, but it just felt like it was my fault that she couldn't find it. And I felt like I had to apologise that I didn't bring all my body parts with me. That's silly cervix. It's just hiding away in there somewhere. It's like, oh, sorry, I'll just rejig my stomach a little and you'll be able to find it. And then finally, after what felt like 10 minutes since I went in, but it was probably more like 5 minutes, she finally managed to get, a sample from my cervix to send away to the lab. And that's the story of my smear test and when they couldn't find my cervix. I'm sorry if it comes across as a little bit basic. It maybe didn't seem as overwhelming a story time as you thought it would be. But, if these things happen to you, in the moment it can feel really uncomfortable, really embarrassing, really awkward, and maybe even make you think about whether or not you want to go back to your smear test. And if you're having the thought of, I don't want to go back, I had such a bad time last time, it's been really uncomfortable, it was quite traumatic, then please try and go back. I have faith in you, I believe in you, I believe you can power through this, and I really hope that you do manage to go back and you're able to power through that and find out if there's anything that you need to know about. Because it's so important. It really is. And I just really hope that you're not stolen of that chance because of a bad experience in the past. This story I've told to quite a few people. My female friends who have also had cervical smear tests, they just find it really funny. They've sometimes shared their own experiences with me, or they've maybe said, oh, I have a tilted cervix, and that has made it hard to find. Do I have a tilted cervix? I don't know. I don't even know if this is going to come up next time I go along. Maybe next time I go along, if someone else says I can't find your cervix, then I'll realise that, hey, my cervix is trying to hide whenever somebody puts something up it. And then I'll maybe be able to find out if there's anything I can do to help the nurse. If I need to change position or sit a little differently. Again, I don't really know how these things work, but I'll leave some information in the description if you're curious about that kind of thing. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. I cannot believe I've just filmed this video. I don't know what to say. And if you felt this was too much information, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm apologising to myself as well because this was so embarrassing. I'm feeling so embarrassed. I don't usually talk about these kind of things, but then maybe we should. Maybe we should open up more. I went and got my smear test. It happens. It's something that we need to do, and we should encourage other people to do that as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. Cheerio.